name's Rochelle Jenkins, and I'm one of the parents who are called for this sit-in.
We're coming up on Juneteenth and the fight around Juneteenth, and how is that connected to what's going on at Parker Elementary?
It's very connected because, see, with my people, we have been dealing with oppression and being uprooted for over 600 years. And it's like, with me knowing that personally, I'm like, when are we going to get tired? Why do we keep allowing this to go on? Enough is enough.
And this occupation, this liberation school, what does it mean? I mean, to have a liberation school?
It means everything. It means that everything that our regular school board won't do or won't give us, we're able to give it to ourselves and to our children and to our community.
So what kind of classes are going on here?
We have a STEM class. We have a language arts. We do reading. I do the PE portion, and my son, he does the skating portion of the day. They've been getting taught sewing, everything that should be going on in this school. That's what we're doing.
And this school is in a black working class community, and they're saying they want to close it. And most of the schools, I think all of them, are in black Latino communities. What does that say about their respect for these communities?
They have none. That's what it says. They have none at all. And we're tired of it. That's why we're here. That's why we're showing them we don't need none of you up there to come do what we're doing today.
And the politicians in Oakland, they pass resolutions for reparations. They pass all these resolutions to say that they're against racism, but it seems like closing this school is an act of racism.
It is. Just like, this is part of their whole gentrification scheme thing that they got going on. I told the school board, a week ago, gentrification is an aggressive form of racism. And they know it. You got all these billionaires coming down here. In this modern day colonization as well, because they see something that they want, they'll come down here, buy it all off, and then put the people that were originally here out.
And I heard that the developers are even taking pictures of this school.
Yes.
Because they're already pricing it out for luxury condos.
Right. I'm serious. I'm like, they've been down here looking at the neighborhoods, taking pictures of this, taking pictures of that, taking pictures of the people. Because I'm like, we already know what you guys are coming to do. That's why we're still in the school. So take a picture of this, of us being here.
And the idea of this school is important for the community. It's a community center. How is the school important for this community? What would it mean if it closed?
Well, my two daughters, who are former members of Parker, they will have to walk a little bit further to another school, and then the other kids, they're going across town and just being completely dispersed. They have no yellow school bus system to pick any of these kids up, so these kids have to walk through war zone after war zone just to get to school, and they're putting their safety at risk. We told OUSD this, and no response. They don't care.
So these kids could be injured or even killed trying to get to their school.
And not only that, there's like human sex trafficking and stuff going on around these areas. And we have some beautiful little girls that walk these streets just to get to school. And who's to say that they won't come down and pick one of our kids up and have them out there in a little human sex trafficking ring?
That's frightening.
It is frightening for whatever reason, I guess, because the people that's sitting on the board of OUSD, they don't have to live in it and they don't have to see it, and they got blind eyes and closed ears to it. It doesn't exist to them. They act like we're, talking in fables and tall tales and stuff. And I'm like, no, this is real. This is what's going on down here. And you guys know why it's going on down here.
And the city council wants to spend $850 million for a stadium for this billionaire John Fisher, who actually supports charter schools, the KIPP charter and rocket ship. Where do they get $850 million for a stadium, but they can't keep the school open?
I tell you, it doesn't make no sense. It makes me think that, it's a bunch of lunatics sitting up there. Because I'm like, any educated person will know that, okay, let's straighten out some of the things that's going on here in our city first, and then we can think about, things that, are considered a luxury or whatever. And I'm like, we can get that another day. Right now, we got problems going on. So why are you guys worried about a fancy stadium when you're doing this?
And how have people been changed by this Liberation School? Has it changed people's thinking about things? What you're talking about?
It has. It has. You know, it raised more awareness than anything. And it's like the highlight for me is when I see the children getting up and getting involved. They're starting to get, politically aware. They're starting to see the power of people, the power of community, and what it can do. And children
They're excited about education.
Yeah, children are our future. I'm like, these same children just may grow up one day to change this whole community, or maybe even the world.
My name is Steve. I live in the Bay Area. I'm a supporter here at Parker School Occupation. I've seen occupations in the past of community schools, one in particular in Seattle in the early 70s. The Beacon Hill School was occupied by the Latino community, and it was called El Centro de la Raza, and it still exists. So I know that occupations can liberate a school. It can be done. I'm also here because around the world people are fighting back around gentrification, war, unemployment, globalization, and this fight against the school district and about their attempt to make this a gentrified community, I think, through charterizing this building, is something we have to stand up and fight against. And the working class...
So it's a system issue.
Yes, it's a system issue, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's why I'm here.
And the unions have a lot of power. There was just the AFL-CIO convention. They weren't talking about mobilizing their membership.
Oh, well, the unions... Okay, let me put it to you like this. While it's better to have one, at least you have contract defense, than not have one, all they do is take our money. Let me give you an example of what the unions do. A friend of mine got a phone call yesterday. She was going home, and her old union from last year called her. Why? To get her to make sure that she supports some Democratic politician. That's what they do. And this happened 24 hours ago. She got this phone call. That's what they do. It's just a front for the Democrats. That's all they are.
And there's a $100 billion surplus in California.
Yeah.
And the unions, are they demanding that money be used to keep the school open and fully fund public education?
Of course not. They aren't demanding anything regarding the schools. The teacher unions essentially are allies of the school bureaucracy, of the politicians. They take it just so far to keep everything closed in and safe. Occupying a school, demanding it be run by the community, those are beyond what the average union is going to even consider supporting.
But the members feel that they have to fight. There are a lot of union members here.
Yes.
So there seems to be a disconnect.
There certainly is. There's definitely a disconnect between what members call for and think and really want in their hearts, and what those people who are in the leadership of the unions even would consider. That's very interesting. I mean, it's not even. You may have a progressive slate, quote unquote, but once they get in, they seem to become calcified and reactionary. I don't know.
And the CTA, the CFT in California have a lot of support, have a lot of money, have a lot of resources. It seems like they're spending a lot of it just to get more Democrats.
Well, like my friend's phone call yesterday. That was within a different part of the country. The point was, that's the only time I reach out to people. We have to go vote for somebody. And all they fight for is the barest of contract defense. That's it. And most things around principal harassment, school budget cuts, curriculum orientation, classroom development, that's outside the contract. And the unions don't step in. And that's what people want. They want people to step in beyond the contract and defend teachers' rights and students' rights for a thriving, holistic educational experience. And unions just don't do it.
And this is the Juneteenth weekend,
right,
commemorating the struggle against racism, the fact that this was kept a secret from African Americans in Texas.
Yes.
And today it seems like the right to a public education is under dire threat.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. I mean, if you look at the Parker situation with school closures, if you look at the high number of working class, poor, African American, and Latin students in special education. There's the whole situation regarding education is in a crisis in this country. The closures are one part of it, but there are so many other things that we could talk about. The decline in the presence of teachers of color. You just don't see teachers of color in the classroom. Why? Well, getting through school is so darn difficult, and then getting through college is so difficult, then getting hired is so difficult, and then getting tenure is so difficult. So the whole system seems to be organized around charterization, private schools, vouchers, anything to take teachers away from their righteous role as leaders and put it in the hand of corporate boards, principals, and this kind of thing. Yeah.
And the question of the working class in this country, we're facing the danger of another coup, insurrection, fascism. It seems like there's no working class mass political alternative in the face of this tremendous political vacuum and the growth of fascism.
Yeah, the alternative is Trump, and that's really not an alternative, is it? I mean, at this point with the two-party system, it's just Trump, and Trump wants, we saw on January 2nd and before what Trump wants. So we need the people in the unions, the working class, to find some common grounds of unity and to fight and to fight for it.
And some unions of the Vermont AFL-CIO have said we need to have a general strike against a possible coup. We need to organize against fascist movement to defend against these racist attacks that are going on. It seems like they're escalating.
Well, I mean, let's look at the gasoline price. I love to talk about that.
Teachers have to commute to their jobs. It's a lot of teachers.
Teachers and non-teachers have to commute to our jobs.
Parents have to drive their kids to school.
Their kids to and from school, and our budgets can't withstand all this inflation of the money we're putting in for gasoline. Right there can be demand of a general strike over the issue of gasoline prices. I mean, nobody will agree the prices should be going up. Nobody agrees to that. Nobody. Okay? So if nobody agrees to that, then we can find a way, but the Democrats are always going to try to push it back. So definitely the idea of a dinner strike is clearly on the agenda to talk about, yes.
And education unions, AFT, the NEA, why are they silent about all this money that's being spent for war? It seems like the unions in this country say it's okay to spend another $40 billion on the war in Ukraine. There's no opposition to war, to militarization. Why? What's going on?
Well, it doesn't take. I don't think it takes a rocket science to figure that one out. If you don't do something, you either don't mind it happening or don't know what to do. And they don't mind it happening and don't want to do anything else. It's all about contract defense and giving money to Democrats, and that's it. That's what they do.
But they're also involved internationally. Randy Weingarten went to Ukraine.
Yeah.
The Solidarity Center, funded by the NED of the AFL-CIO, gets $75 million a year from the U.S. government through National Endowment for Democracy. It seems like they've become an appendage, an arm of the U.S. government.
They certainly are. Yeah, they all for forever and always. And unless you throw the rot out and kick the bums out and revive the movement, the same thing's going to be happening. It's not going to change without mobilization from the grassroots.
And what have you discovered here with the kids you're teaching and what's happening here at this Liberation School, this occupation?
Well, I find the students are hungry for knowledge. They're hungry for genuine experiences. They want a good relationship with their teachers and their community. And this is what education should look like.
My name is Minister King. I'm gonna have to. I gotta represent my elders.
Okay.
It ain't even about me. My name Minister King X. I'm the director of California Prison Focus, founder of Cage Universal. So I'm what you would call a formerly incarcerated or returning citizen. So I'm here when we talk about community. I was raised and born here, right here in Oakland, California. And when I came home, not about 18 months ago, I came home to a culture shock. So I heard one of the parents speak earlier about, the issues dealing with gentrification. I see it every day, but at the same time, it become a core root of the problem when you have inadequate health care, inadequate education, poor education, the unhoused. It's a cesspool of the root of crime. And what you see here is a callous of the community coming together trying to create a solution when you have state representatives, government representatives fail or refuse to create type of programs that's going to be everlasting for the community, right?
It seems like they have a lot of money for prisons in California.
Yeah, they got a lot of money for prisons, but what they're doing is in 2011, 2013, we had a hunger strike to end long-term solitary confinement and torture. The UN already stipulated that anybody that spends 15 days over in solitary confinement is considered torture. Now, here you are, you got teachers and students, community having hunger strikes like Westlake, Prescott, here at Parker. They're striking to keep the schools open. Now what they're trying to do is eradicate the school-to-prison pipeline.
So it's a business, I mean, the prisons. I mean, it's the prison industry, and they use prisoners for jobs that should be union jobs, should be paid, good paying jobs. I mean, it seems like it's all for profiteering and making money off of people.
Yeah, so when you think of the prison slave industrial complex, right, you think about how does involuntary servitude still serve the purpose for the community, quote unquote, the second clause inside of the 13th Amendment. It's here we are as Juneteenth, and we still dealing with our rights to vote. We still dealing with rights under Roe versus Wade, women rights, labor rights. We still dealing with issues where you got these industries coming inside of the neighborhood, buying out these properties, but they putting programs what they see as feasible instead of reaching out to the community and asking them what do they want out here in society.
And what should be done about it?
I think what should be done is more people in the community, black, brown, red, poor whites, the proletarian lumpen class, the working class. We should sit down and inside of these systems that they call the city council, the systems that they call the legislators, right? And we should demand that we be heard in a way where we presenting community release boards that replace CDC boards as well as community programs and parallel those programs and create a parallel society and talk about inner hostilities inside and out and change that mentality inside and out.
Here we go.
What does this mean to you, what's happening here?
This means that it happens in a lot of cities. So I'm not from this area. I'm out of town, but we face the same problem.
Where?
I'm from Sacramento.
So the same thing is going on in Sacramento?
Well, it's been going on before this, but you always hear the stories. You know, they're so sad. And I'm glad there's people out there to support the community and get the word out.
And I understand there are charter schools in Sacramento too. Johnson,
yes.
the mayor.
They was trying to close a lot of schools too, though, but all in the areas where there was not people. There wasn't schools that were strong with money. It was schools that were struggling.
Poor communities.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's just and it wasn't right. But they fought back. There was a school across the street, and they won. They didn't close it down. So
What school was that?
Bret Hart School, yeah, in Sacramento on Franklin Boulevard. Top of Franklin.
So this is a national. Seems like nationally it's going on.
Oh yeah, it's happening everywhere, and it's not. It's just I don't know the whole thing of it, but I know that the kids got to go to school. I mean, they don't want to fund it no more, so they're just like
Put them in prisons.
Yeah, that more or less. I mean,
It happened.
yeah, it's not right,
Eventually.
Yeah, so. That's why when they come to the door, they want this and that. I just say, no, thank you, because I see it right across.
Sacramento has California has a $100 billion surplus
Right.
in the budget.
Oh yeah, they got.
Why are teachers having to go on strike? Why are they closing schools with a $100 billion surplus? Right.
Back with that, I'm not saying it's the easy place to run, but the governor they got in there right now is not the right guy. I mean, I'm not trying to be negative on it, but the guy is just, He's not even in the same line of field of where he doesn't understand what's. I mean, if he does, he's just shining it on. So.
Well, I mean, California is such a rich state. It should have great schools for all the kids.
Right. Well, they should.
It should have the best schools in the world with all the wealth that we have. We're 180 billionaires.
Schools, but they got, it's all about this. It's all about the money. But the poor, the people that are, it's not even really, it's poor, but it's the people that working people. It's making them suffer. They got to take the kids somewhere else farther. They got a job. They only do so much, And then I don't know if you know this, but what was the tax hike that they said would help the freeways? Gavin Newsom, what did he say? How much was it? Like
the gas tax.
Yeah, how much was that? You know, because
a lot of money.
Yeah, so I know that hasn't been taken off, and to add on to the other stuff, right now they got so much stockpile of the oil, they don't know. They're slowing the refineries down because they know that. They're doing
highway robbery.
Exactly. So, it is what it is.
How did you hear about this?
About because I could tell, because when we go, I go visit.
Told us about it. She's
I go
works with CR.
Yeah, I go visit my daughter, and on the way home, back years ago, like 3 years ago, the refineries had like 3, 4, or 5 stacks going on all. You could see refineries.
Flaring, contaminating the communities.
Oh yeah, now only got 1 stack, so they're not refining nothing because they got so much they can't. It's like what are you going to refine? They got piles of it, but they're not. They're acting like we ain't got it, but they got it.
So this is called my 23 days at Parker Elementary. My name is Gerson, and I've been at Parker for the Liberation for 23 days. Some people ask me how I got involved in it. Well, I used to hear the marches every day and how they're taking away my community school. The first day I got here, I didn't believe that there were people actually sleeping in a school. My little sister was the first person across the street to be here every day. My sister transferred from Parker K3 earlier this year because of at Elmhurst Middle School. She and another student and their mom got in an altercation. The mom jumped out of her car when my sister was walking, and she fought my sister. My mom called OUSD, and they didn't do anything about it. The principal never called or checked up on us. He just let us be, and this is why she moved to Parker. She started coming home every day with a smile on her face. I came over here a couple of times, and I talked to everybody. They're nice and welcoming, and she also has a lot of friends. Here at this Liberation, I taught an art class. I got to learn how to roller skate. I got to see different people and interact with them. There has been some events here, like barbecues, skate days, the Warriors Party, and many more. Occupying this school is a good idea because kids need it. Where are we going to go if we don't occupy this school? I know a lot of kids around here who aren't going to go to school next year because no one could take them and they don't have anywhere to go. If we don't fight back, there won't be any public schools in Oakland left. They want to close this school because they're going to turn it into a charter school. I've been to a charter school for 3 years. I do love it, but there are some things I don't like. Even though being a black student, I feel like I don't ever get heard. All students should have the right to feel comfortable at school, and that's why I'm here doing this today. At some point, I started to give up because I thought that they were just going to have our school taken away. But on June 9th, I went to my first school board meeting, and I got to see the ugliest people ever. Inside, they didn't have a sense of humor. They were rude. They just don't care about children. They only care about money and taking it away from kids. They are being racist, and they take away schools from black and brown community, especially Josh Daniels. He's the most racist of them all. He comes to Parker every week and takes pictures of little kids. He locks up our cafeteria so we can't eat. He takes all of our funding. He sends 14 people here just to put chains on our gates. When I went to the school board meeting, it made me not want to give up anymore. I got heard, and other youth say that they wanted to say everything. They got to hear what they had to say. If Josh Daniels really think that's going to stop us, because we're not going to stop. It's a community school, so everybody could be here.